Success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he has overcome. These words were written by Booker T. Washington in his book, Up from Slavery, an autobiography. In recognition of Black History Month, I'm going to tell you about how he changed his life and many African American lives due to his determination to change how the world would view a Black man. Today, I'll tell you about Booker T. Washington, a man who was born to slavery but died as a student, educator, and trusted advisor to two United States presidents. Although born into slavery, Booker T. Washington desired an education. Booker Taliaferro came into the world April 1856 in Franklin County, Virginia, to Jane, an enslaved cook, and a white man assumed from one of the neighboring plantations. His early life began as a slave on a farm in Virginia. Then his mom moved the family to West Virginia after the Civil War. At the age of 9, he packed salt in the salt mines and eventually worked in the coal mines at 12. During his time working in the mines, his mother gave him a book that he would study early in the morning before work, teaching himself how to read and write. Around this time, he decided to add Washington, the last name of his stepfather, to become Booker T. Washington. Washington's education continued to develop upon going to work for Viola Ruffner. Viola Ruffner was the wife of General Lewis Ruffner, owner of the mines, and she was a school teacher. Impressed by Washington while he worked for the family as a houseboy, she taught him the basics of the Puritan ethic and instilled discipline, encouraging him to continue his education according to Booker T. Washington's book, Up from Slavery, an autobiography. At the age of 16, Washington believed strongly in his need for more education. In 1872, he walked 500 miles to enroll at the Hampton Normal Agricultural Institute in Virginia. Those 500 miles changed the rest of his life. He arrived at the school penniless and persuaded the administration to enroll him at the school and give him a job as a janitor to cover room and board. His tenacity led him to impress General Samuel C. Armstrong, the headmaster, who offered him a scholarship to cover his tuition, which led to a lifelong relationship where Armstrong served as a mentor to Washington. The significance of Washington's mentorship with General Samuel C. Armstrong changed the direction of history for African Americans in education. The state of Alabama asked Armstrong to recommend a white man who could lead the new Tuskegee Normal School in Alabama. Armstrong instead recommended a black man, Booker T. Washington. Washington became the headmaster of the Tuskegee Normal School in 1881. Given just $2,000 from the Alabama state legislature to use for salaries and no buildings for classes to be held in, it was not an easy place to start from. He quickly went to work finding creative ways to grow his campus. The first classes were held in an African Methodist Episcopal Zion church. Eventually, students built many of the early buildings, giving them practical work experience alongside an education. Booker T. Washington proved that armed with an education of both knowledge and practical skills, Black Americans could rise above their station in life. Washington gained national recognition in 1895 when he spoke at the opening day of the Atlanta Exposition. On a national stage, he spoke of the new Negro, those with the knowledge to live of the land and make the most of their opportunities. Recognized as the first time a speech was given to a racially diverse audience by an African American, Washington emphasized, "There is no defense or security for any of us, except in the highest intelligence and development of all," stressing the need to educate all people. This new view led him to become the first African American to not just visit the White House, but dine with the president. It is said that President Roosevelt and Washington were uncertain if dining together was the right thing, but they both felt compelled. This led to Washington serving as an advisor to both President Theodore Roosevelt and President William Howard Taft on matters of race relations. In recognition of Black History Month, it is important to recognize Booker T. Washington. I told you the story of a man who was born into slavery, but died as a student, educator, and trusted advisor to two United States presidents. His mark on American history is impressive and should be remembered not just for who he is, but what he accomplished for the future generations. Behind me, you'll see a lasting reminder of what he was able to accomplish. The Tuskegee Normal School, which is now Tuskegee University, which educates over 3,000 students a year, covers over 5,000 acres, and is valued at over $500 million. Most importantly, though, he woke the countries to the concept that education is vital to individual freedom. Thank you for listening to me and learning about the amazing person that is Booker T. Washington.